So what do you have to say about that, Iana J. Daniels? Life is a journey. You get to choose. You've had quite the journey.
If you told me as a teenager sitting in Guyana that I would be here talking to you
Yeah, right?
on this forum right now,
Yeah, on a
sharing
computer.
sharing parts of my journey, I would say you're on some very good stuff. Let
Yeah.
me have some of that. There's a quote I read one time. It says, "Life is like a roller coaster. Just hold on tight and enjoy the ride." I can say I held on tight.
Yeah, that's so true about the enjoyment part. Lots of trauma from your background, lots of shame, and yeah,
Yes,
it's been intense. And you even ended up in the service, in the U.S. Army. So tell us a little bit about that experience.
I did. So again, it's one of those things that I did not have planned for me. I wanted nothing to do with military service.
Okay.
However, I was presented with an opportunity to have my student loans paid off, in addition to being able to have my graduate degree, as many of them as I wanted to, subsidized,
Right.
while at the same time making a living.
Mm-hmm.
And those three things for me came down to one word: independence.
Yep.
Because I'll rewind a little bit. When we came to the States in 91
From Guyana.
from Guyana, my mom's focus at the time was simply getting us here, making sure that we had a roof over our heads, because that's part of the sponsoring process for immigration. You have to make sure that you can support the people that you're bringing here. So that was
Right.
her focus. College was not, she knew that college is something that we will all be doing eventually. But I ended up in college 2 years after we came to the States.
Wow.
And so, of course, financially, my family did not have the resources to do so. But I was determined. So if I get into a 4-year school, I am attending a 4-year school, and I will figure it out.
Right. And you sure did. Just
Figure
fast
it out, I
forward
did.
to 2 degrees.
I,
And you paid the Army back big time too, and you were most helpful. So
I
yeah, that's
did. I gave
something.
them 21 years of my life, and I only intended to give them the 3 that they needed. Um,
Oh gosh.
yes, but yes, it was quite a journey.
Yeah.
I wouldn't recommend anyone going to college, paying for college the way I did, because you introduce suffering into your life unnecessarily.
Mm.
Um, I got through with a combination of student loans, credit cards, and a partial track scholarship.
Yeah, right.
The student loans part, I mean, if you can't avoid it, you can't avoid it, but be prudent about it. Credit cards, definitely not as a student. Well, I think some of the rules may have changed. But when I was in school, the first 2 weeks, maybe even the first month of the semester, it's nothing but credit card companies at the student union,
Wow. So
where
sad.
all the students gather. And as a student, I don't have money. My parents are not supporting me. So I'm just like, hey, that's a planner? Yes, I know that's one less thing I have to buy. Not thinking through that is a planner, but I'm also signing up for debt.
Yeah.
I am not working that I can pay. So
It adds up
I,
quickly.
I have no regrets about
Right?
what I did or how I did it,
Yeah.
because it taught me and it showed me that I am resilient and resourceful, in accomplishing whatever I want to do.
Yeah, absolutely. And in the Army, you probably were the only one that could have handled all of the deaths that happened so quickly. And you want to fill us in a little bit about
Oh,
that? How your own PTSD came in handy? Get through all of that. That was a lot.
oh my gosh. So as the Rear Detachment Commander, that means I am the officer that's left behind to gather all the folks together and handle any residual issues while the main unit is deployed.
Okay.
For my unit, 27th Engineer Battalion Combat Airborne, between June and July of 2009. No, June and July 2010. Wow, I'm getting old. Between June and July of 2010, approximately 34 days, we had 8 killed in action.
Wow.
In 4 different incidents. And in one of the incidents, so it was 3 incidents, 1, 2, then 1, then 4.
Wow.
And actually that last incident, there were 5 people in that particular vehicle. 1 ended up in an induced coma to save his life. And as far as I know, he's still alive today, thank God.
Yeah.
But that was very intense for that time, because I was in the middle of dealing with my own trauma.
Right. And your own
I had just started unpacking my trauma, both from growing up in Guyana, as well as things that I did not deal with during my deployment in Iraq.
Oh, wow.
And so I just, because when you pack things, when you pack Pandora's box, all you have to do is like flip that lid just a little bit, and that's all it needs to pop up like a Jack in the Box. So
and it comes out all over the place.
Everything came up. I didn't have a choice as to what came up, because initially, when I started my journey, was to deal with my father's suicide.
Yeah.
Because I recognized that also, although he left in 2004, as a family, we never said the S word, but we all knew how he died.
Right. I had the same thing. Like, you don't need to talk about that. It's like, I found out real fast. You do, and it's important. And there are people out there who have experienced but felt the same way. It's just a closeted thing. So yeah.
Correct. And culturally, in Guyana, in Guyanese lingo, we have this saying, everyone has their own shape to bear, so you bear yours. So that's basically everyone deals with their own thing.
Yeah, right.
However, maybe if we were living in Guyana, the experience would have been different, but we were in a different environment. So not talking about it was equally traumatic.
Yeah, and starving for connection.
Correct. And there were so many things that led up to that we did not unpack together as a family. So I did what all soldiers do. Yes, I received the news my dad is gone. I already knew what happened before I even got the phone call.
Oh, okay.
I went back to work the next day like nothing happened.
Yeah, exactly. I told my mom, it's like, I don't have a dress to wear to the reveal, so take me to the fabric store so I can get a fabric and a pattern. And yeah.
No, I walked into work the next day and everyone was looking at me.
Yeah, like, what are you doing here?
Iana, why are you here?
Exactly.
Or at that time, I was a staff sergeant. Staff Sergeant Daniels, why are you here? Where else am I supposed to be? Shouldn't you be getting ready to go home? Yes, but until I have a plane ticket, I'm not going to sit in my apartment and stew. I'm going to be here. I'm going to work. And then I leave. And I even went home, and then I did my 2 weeks and then I went right back to work.
Yeah.
In hindsight, I should have stayed the full 30 days, but I just couldn't. And so,
yeah.
But before that, what I did was, I don't even know how I ended up at the suicide awareness walk in Charlotte, North Carolina.
Down the mountain from me. And over.
I attended that. I just gotten Winston. Winston was about maybe 9 months.
This is your puppy.
This is my puppy. Now
you're a senior puppy. Dog.
Yes, my then puppy and I. So this is his first time around a crowd. So I was more focused on him.
Yeah.
And making sure that he was okay. But the other gift, the gift I received that day was that the same Tri-State Suicide Foundation Awareness program, they hosted a survivors conference.
Ah, nice.
I believe it was 2 months later. And I said, there was a reason I attended this walk today.
Yeah, right?
So,
you get those bits and pieces.
I attended the survivors conference. I didn't know what to expect because the only thing they had on the itinerary was AM session panel, then lunch, then PM session breakouts.
Right.
That was the only thing it said. The morning session was fabulous. There was a panel of survivors across demographic, young, elderly, therapists. So they tried to cover as many of the groups. So if you lost a spouse, if you lost a child, if you lost a sibling, if you lost a parent, a colleague, a client.
Again, you get to choose. So really, in the non-healing, there's no choice. In the healing, there's tons of choice.
Oh, yes,
right?
There's
the difference, right?
You do. So that was enlightening because, and the choice is also realizing that I'm not the only one.
Exactly.
And my family is not the only family that not only experiences this, but my family is also not the only family that does not talk about it.
Exactly. And what a great place to end this. Life is a journey. You get to choose.